was able to take my body from this in 2017 to this now without extremes, and that's because I've implemented these 10 fitness hacks that no one is talking about. So if you're serious about getting lean, these hacks are actually gonna put you ahead of 99% of women in the gym. But this is gonna be the no fluff, no BS approach, no quick fixes, no gimmicks, just the stuff that actually works, not just for me, but for hundreds of women inside of our Aligned Fitness coaching program. But the last hack is the most important, so make sure you stay all the way till the end, or else none of these hacks are gonna apply unless you do the last one. This is episode 3 of my Lean and Strong series, where I am dropping all of the secrets, everything you need to get lean and strong without spending hours in the gym and without doing any diets. So if you haven't seen episode 1 and 2, make sure you go check those out on my channel in the Lean and Strong playlist. And subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Hack number 1, you need to go to the gym with a plan. Don't be that person who walks in there willy-nilly and you do some reps on this machine and then you do some abs and then you're on this elliptical machine. You need to have a solid plan. When I first started my fitness journey, I didn't know that you needed a plan. And so I would go into the gym and run a mile on the treadmill because I didn't know what else to do. And I would maybe do some ab exercises here and there, but I had no solid plan. And it's why I was going to the gym, but my body was not changing at all. That's because building muscle and losing body fat does not happen on accident. You have to be intentional. So have an actual game plan, know what workout you're going to do before you step foot in the gym. And if you don't know what workouts to do, I have 2 free workout splits on my channel. So go to my channel and you can find 2 workout routines that you can start implementing into your routine. Now, I will say this, you want to stick with the same routine for a pretty long time. You should not be changing up your workouts every day, every week. I've been on the same workout program for about 4 months now. Yes, that means for 4 months straight, I've walked into the gym and done the same exact workouts week after week after week. That's because if you want to actually change your body and get toned and lean, you need to be boring. You need to be repetitive and you need to be consistent. The reason why 90% of women fail at this is because they get bored, they need variety. But here's the tough love and the hard truth. If your fitness routine is always fun and exciting, then I'm sure you don't have results. Which brings me to hack number 2 is to log and track your lifts. You are not going to build muscle if you are not training with progressive overload. Once you've got a structured game plan and you have a workout routine, now you need to make sure that you're progressing over time. Oftentimes, I will hear women say, well, that workout was too easy for me, or that wasn't intense enough for me. The intensity of the workout is actually on you. It's on the person doing the workout. I could go into the gym and do my leg day that I do every week, and I could make it an absolute walk in the park where I'm not even sweating at all, and it's not even challenging at all for me. Or I could make that same workout the hardest, most challenging workout in my life because it's on you. What weights are you using? Are you actually challenging yourself? Are you applying progressive overload? Are you using proper form, tempo, control, or are you just kind of breezing through it and going through the motions? So to ensure that you're using progressive overload, you need to be logging your lifts. This is why all of our clients inside of our program have access to our private training app. So there's actually a place for them to put the reps and the weight that they did. And what our app will do is the next week, it will show them what they used last week. This way you can ensure that you are getting stronger over time, not just lifting heavier, heavier, heavier. That is one way to progress, but you can also progress with so many different other methods as well. But before you even start your workouts, you need to do hack number 3, which is to prioritize pre-workouts and post-workout nutrition. When you're weight training, our body is using primarily glucose as energy during that lift because weight training is primarily anaerobic exercise. So that means your body is pretty much using carbohydrates as fuel during that weight training session. This is why I do not recommend women to restrict carbs or do keto or low carb. Sure, you can go do keto or low carb and you'll lose weight. And does that mean you're losing body fat? No, because when you do something restrictive, even if the scale's going down, that's not always a good thing because you are probably losing muscle as well, and you're just losing a bunch of water from not eating carbs. So it doesn't actually make you look lean and toned. Even when I got extremely lean last year for my bodybuilding show, yes, I was on more of an extreme and restrictive plan, but I still never cut out carbs completely. My carb intake did get pretty low because when you're competing and you're stepping on stage, it's a whole different ball game. But I say this and share this with you because even though I was very lean and I was doing something very extreme, I still never had a day that I had completely cut out carbs. So that being said, your pre-workout meal should be a carb-heavy meal because you want to make sure that you're giving your body the fuel to push harder in that workout and actually train optimally intentionally. Now, you don't need to overcomplicate it. You can just have a high carb breakfast if you train in the morning. What I do is I actually have a bagel, I have 2 eggs, and then I have my iced coffee, and that's my pre-workout meal. And I'm primarily getting my energy from that bagel. I'm having that carb source there. Other examples are maybe having a bowl of oats with banana, or if you train super early in the morning, like maybe you're getting up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym, maybe you're not too hungry, at least have a banana or maybe half a bagel. Your body needs fuel. I promise you, you're gonna be able to push harder and get stronger when you're fueling your body intentionally. And I recommend having your pre-workout meal about 45 minutes to 60 minutes before you start your session, just so you don't go into the session and feeling very full and you still haven't really digested. Which brings me to the next point, post-workout nutrition. We still want to prioritize carbohydrates, but also protein and fats as well. Now, that is a myth. Now, maybe you've heard of something called the anabolic window where you need to eat protein within 30 minutes after your workout. That's been debunked. You don't have to stay within that 30-minute window. I do, however, recommend eating after your workout because 1, you're probably starving. You're going to be really hungry, especially if you're pushing really hard in that workout. And 2, I do recommend having pretty good meal timing throughout the day, just evenly spacing your meals throughout the day. This way you're not restricting yourself for hours and then maybe you're binging at night. You want to be fueling your body properly throughout the day. Now, breaking this down just a tiny bit further, our body uses carbohydrates and fats as energy, and protein is primarily used for recovery. So I actually wouldn't recommend having a protein shake before your workout. I know a lot of people think like, oh, I need to, load up on the protein before my workout. But remember, protein is more for recovery, not necessarily for energy. Your body's using carbohydrates and fats as energy. Now, you can still have protein before your workout. I have my 2 eggs in the morning, but you really want to focus on getting a carb-heavy meal. But hack number 4 is not going to work unless you also do hack number 5, which is do not skip warm-up. Too many women are going into the gym and just jumping straight into their first exercise. If you keep doing that, especially if you're lifting pretty heavy that first exercise, you're way more likely to injure yourself. You do not want to skip mobility and warming up. So what I recommend is when you walk into the gym, start by walking on the treadmill for 5 to 10 minutes. Get your body moving, get your body a bit more warm. This is also a great hack if you struggle with gym anxiety and maybe you're a little bit scared, you don't know where to go, you don't know where the machines are. Walking on the treadmill for 5 to 10 minutes just gets you acclimated to being there, just getting used to being in the environment. You can also kind of do a scan and maybe locate some of the machines that you want to use. It's such a great hack though to just warm up your body. Then you want to go into some dynamic stretching, which I'll put examples and videos of some examples here, but essentially you want to be doing dynamic stretching before your workout, and if you do want to stretch after your workout, you want to do static stretching. Dynamic stretching is more about taking your body through a movement where you're not holding that stretch for like 30 to 60 seconds, you're like moving. So when I'm doing like a hip flexor stretch, a dynamic stretch, you're going forward and backwards, and you're just kind of taking that muscle through that range of motion just to make sure that there's no kinks or there's no pain, or you just want to make sure that you're warming up your hips, your joints, like all of that needs to be ready for your workout. Then before you start your actual working sets, you want to do 1 to 2 warm-up sets before you go in and start that first working set. You should not go, let's say for example, you're doing barbell squats. You should not just go up to the barbell and then put on a bunch of heavy weight and just do a squat. You are definitely going to injure yourself if you start training that way. So what you want to do, for example, for a barbell squat, I would even do like 5 to 10 reps just body weight. Just like practice the motion, do the exercise body weight. Then that second warm-up set can be with maybe just the barbell. So maybe you do like 10 reps with just the barbell. Then you can start your first working set, which is maybe adding on a little bit of weight, still not your highest weight, but as the sets go on, you want to increase, at least try to increase the weight as you go while maintaining proper form. This is how you train effectively to minimize injuries. Another thing you need to do if you want to maximize your progress is hack number 5. And this is something that a lot of people don't talk about, but it's getting good sleep. Try and get the best quality sleep that you can, because sleep is not only essential to life and just functioning optimally, but it's really going to aid in your recovery too. You don't want to skip out on recovery and rest days. Recovery is just as important as training hard in the gym. So if you want the best sleep possible, I want you to follow this 6-3-2-1 method. 6 hours before you fall asleep, you want to stop all caffeine. 3 hours before you go to sleep, try and have your last meal. 2 hours before you go to sleep, stop all work stuff, okay? Put all the work stuff away. You can focus on it the next day. 1 hour before you go to sleep, turn off all screens. No scrolling scrolling on your phone, no watching Netflix or TV. I promise if you do these 4 things, you are gonna have the best sleep of your life. And a pro tip is you can even take some magnesium glycinate before bed, and this will help with your sleep quality as well. Before you start taking any supplements though, make sure you get your blood work done, get your labs done, speak with your doctor to ensure that this would be a good supplement for you. You can also follow a simple method like this for grocery shopping, which brings me to hack number 6, the 4-3-2-1 method for grocery shopping. It's 4 proteins, 3 carb sources, 2 veggies and 2 fruits, and then 1 fun item. This is really gonna simplify your grocery shopping, especially if you are someone who gets pretty overwhelmed. You don't really know where to go in the grocery store. You don't know what meals to have. That's why it's so important to have a plan before you step foot in the gym, and also have a plan before you go to the grocery store. Have your list ready, have your meals ready of what you're going to get. That way you're not distracted and just buying a whole bunch of random things that you don't need. So for example, for the 4 proteins, you could choose chicken breast, ground beef, Greek yogurt, and eggs. For the 3 carb sources, you could do pasta, potatoes, and rice. For the 2 veggies, you could choose asparagus and broccoli. And then for the 2 fruits, maybe you can choose bananas or watermelon. And finally, for that 1 fun item, it can be anything that you want, something that will satisfy your cravings. For me, I'm a huge chocolate lover, so I love the Hu dark chocolate. The cashew vanilla is my favorite flavor. I have 2 squares of those every night, and this is how you can make it sustainable. There's no need to cut out the foods you love. You don't need to cut out chocolate completely if you want to get lean and toned. You just need to make sure that you're tracking it and fitting it into your macros. Which brings me to hack number 7, is to track and measure your progress. Take the progress photos, take the measurements, step on the scale. This is why our clients have access to our training app, because we have a full hub where they can upload all of their data into the app. We can see their weight graphs, we can see their measurements, and they can track their progression over time. They can compare their progress photos from previous check-ins. This is super motivating, especially if you're someone who really wants to see results and you want to have that, that gratification and know that you are doing the right thing. This is why you need to be tracking your progress. And then if you're not making progress, you will see what needs to be improved because you're tracking things. If you're not taking progress photos, you're not taking measurements, you're not weighing yourself, how do you know if you're making progress? How do you know if something is working or not? You cannot avoid these things. You have to view them as data, because what gets measured gets managed. Just like if you have a financial budget or a financial goal, what do you start doing? You start tracking your spending. You start tracking your budget. We should view our fitness journey the same exact way. The reason why is I want to share a study that was done with you. So there were 2 groups measured over about a 6-week time span for holiday season. One group was told to weigh themselves every single day throughout that 6-week period during the holiday season. The other group was told to not weigh themselves at all. And guess what happened? The group that weighed themselves every day actually ended up losing a couple of pounds during the holiday season. The group that did not weigh themselves gained a few pounds over the holiday season without changing their regular habits. They didn't change their eating habits or their training or workouts or whatever. It was just simply by weighing themselves. Now, why did that happen? The people who weighed themselves every day were paying attention to that number. So if it did start to fluctuate up, they could notice and be like, you know what? Maybe I should walk more. Maybe I should, maybe start paying more attention to my nutrition. It makes you put more focus and effort and energy there when you're aware of it. Versus the people who were not weighing themselves every day, they didn't get to see that number. So when they step on the scale a month and a half later, it's like, what the heck? I've gained 5 pounds? Because they didn't even know that it was happening because they were not weighing themselves. But that also brings me to hack number 8, is you need to stay focused on your journey. Stop worrying about what other people are doing. And you need to stay focused and locked in on your plan without changing things too soon. This is a very common mistake I see so many women do because they get bored, they get discouraged, they get upset, and then they're jumping from one program to the next, to these in-person classes, to these fitness classes, to this diet. And it's like you don't even have any consistency, and that's why you're not making progress. You need to give yourself at least a solid 6 to 12 months of following that same method and really locking in with consistency, not half of the time, not only Monday through Friday. I'm talking like make this your lifestyle, because I promise you, when you are consistent, not perfect, but when you're consistent and you trust the process and you keep going and you don't change things too soon, you are going to get so much further ahead than 99% of women out there. Because think of it this way, even 6 months is barely any time. It goes by in the blink of an eye. And honestly, the first 1 to 2 years of your fitness journey, I still consider you a very, very new beginner. You are still in the baby beginning stages. So you need to stop expecting results in 8 weeks or 4 weeks, especially if you've been struggling for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years or longer. Why are you expecting to reach your goal in just a few weeks when you have years of bad habits and inconsistencies that you need to overcome? Which brings me to hack number 9. This is going to be a game changer for your mindset, is the floor versus the ceiling mentality. The reason why 80 to 90% of women give up in their fitness journey is because most of the time they struggle up here with their mindset. They self-sabotage, they are changing things too soon, they feel like a failure if they're not perfect. And take it from me, I've transformed my body and stepped on stage before. I've helped hundreds of women, and I can promise you, you don't need to be perfect if you want to transform your body. No one is perfect, but the reason why you self-sabotage is because you expect yourself to be perfect every day. So when you have an off day or a bad day or you make a mistake, now all of a sudden you feel like a failure, you want to give up, and you feel like a huge disappointment to yourself. When that is not a growth mindset, that is a fixed mindset. So if you want to actually grow and see progress, you can make mistakes, you can have bad days, you can mess up, but you get up the next day, you keep going, and you never give up on yourself. So with that floor versus ceiling mentality, instead of being an all or nothing person, that is not a good trait to have. Be an all or something person. It's not all or nothing, it's all or something. So the floor versus ceiling mentality is this. The floor is the bare minimum that you need to do that week or every day. So for example, maybe you have a floor protein goal. I've got to at least hit 100 grams of protein. That's my bare minimum every day. Maybe you have a floor step count goal. I need to at least hit 5,000 steps per day. Like, that is my floor. The ceiling is above and beyond. It's exceeding everything. You've hit your macros perfect. You got your workout in. You hit your steps. You got great sleep. But let's be honest, you're not going to have ceiling days 100% of the time. So to help you not get upset when you don't have those ceiling days, at least you hit your floor. But that is the bare minimum standard you need to set for yourself. And if you want to be lean, toned, and strong, you do need to have a high standard for yourself. You don't need to expect perfection, but you can't keep going through these extremes where you're doing so great and you're perfect, and then all of a sudden you're on this other side where you've completely given up. Hold higher standards for yourself. You need that floor versus ceiling, and I promise you this mentality is going to help you out a lot, because as long as you're within the floor and the ceiling, you had a successful day. You guys, my camera literally died, so I lost the footage for the outro, so I'm here quick on my iPhone right now because I wanted to give you guys the last tip, which is the most important, is to never quit, is to never give up. You can keep going even when you feel like wanting to quit. You can keep going even when you feel like you want to give up or you're questioning yourself. Your emotion or your feeling in the moment doesn't have to dictate your entire journey. So learn how to keep showing up despite feeling like you want to quit. And that is how I've been able to get where I am today, is I just have never quit. And if there's anyone ahead of you who has better results than you, who has the goals that you want, they've simply probably just been at it for longer and they've just never given up on themselves. That is how you ultimately achieve success in your fitness journey, is you never ever give up. And that doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect all the time. You're going to have different seasons in your life that are busier, harder, going through a stressful time. That doesn't mean you need to give up on your journey. You just need to, make adjustments to fit the season that you're in right now. Just never quit and give up on yourself. So I could not skip out on the last most important hack for you guys. So I want to leave you with this 7-day challenge. Is you're going to do this, and I want you to do all of these things, then come back to this video and report in the comments how you're feeling and the results that you have gotten. Number 1 is you're going to set your protein and step count goal, floor and ceiling. What is the bare minimum amount of protein that you're going to accept each day? What is the bare minimum amount of steps that you're going to get in each day? And then what does that ceiling look like for you? Number 2 is to get on an actual training plan. Stop, willy-nilly winging it when you go into the gym. Get on an actual plan and start logging your lifts. Step number 3 is to follow that 4-3-2-1 grocery plan. I promise this will make your grocery shopping way less overwhelming. And number 4 is to implement the 6-3-2-1 tonight for that sleep schedule. And like I said, report back in the comments with your wins. But thank you so much for watching this video. This was just episode 3 of my Lean and Strong series. Episode 4 is going to be coming out next, and I'm going to be giving you the exact game plan, the exact roadmap from start to finish of how to actually get toned in 2025 and 2026. So make sure you subscribe, so I'll catch you in the next video.